Hey everybody, and welcome to another episode here at Tribal Trades, the daily show coming at you from the great state of Florida. And just want to warmly welcome you from wherever you are tuning in from around the world. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for joining and joining on this journey, of course, that we started late May, and we've gone, I guess, for a few months here. And already over 3,500 subscribers. So really do appreciate that. And of course, if you've been watching from the beginning or watching a while, you know what I'm going to say next. Smash that like button. This helps get this content out to more people and helps support the channel. Love all the comments and all the questions. I do get back to those as quickly as I'm able to. All the kind words and encouragement. I really do appreciate that as well. And of course, if you haven't seen my cheat sheet, it's linked below in the description. Tons of great links in there. Trades, entries, exits, links, resources, free trainings in there as well. And of course, the Discord, the best Discord on the planet, the Stocks with Josh Discord. And it was quite funny. I was watching the Stock Squad last night on the Stocks with Josh Discord. And thanks for the shout out, guys, on that, on the Blub trade. I was checking my original entry on Blub. I have added to it, of course. I'm now up 800%. I think actually at one point I got up to 1,000% up on that Blub trade, and I gave that on the Discord. So if you were in the Discord and got in that trade, and I gave step-by-step instructions on the Discord how to buy that, and then also the very next day I did a video with step-by-step as well. Okay, so this is why it's important, in my opinion, to be in a Discord, to be in a community. The links are below. You can sign up below by clicking on the links. The links are also in my cheat sheet as well. Okay, now we've seen some great upside on Bitcoin. I wonder who could have predicted this. Well, the July low, July 5th low, I'd said that the bottom was in by the dip. I gave entries for my cheat sheet. Those of you who took the entries made great profits, as I did. And then we came back down the August low. I said, okay, this is another local bottom. And I do teach how to identify local bottoms in my free training series. I mean, what if you could just buy the market local bottom almost every time? So we've nailed 3 in a row: July, August, September. Life-changing gain series. I believe it's episode 4. This is for free, located in my cheat sheet below. This can help you identify also local bottoms. And I said September 6th will be the local low. All these people calling, oh, Bitcoin's going to 40K, Bitcoin's going to 30K. And I'm like, this is it. And look, I never dismiss those. I say, look, there's a possibility. Anything is possible, right? I don't discount those, but the charts tell me something different. The historical data tells me something different. The money supply, there's just so many things that were telling me things were different. And every day I got on this channel, for those of you who know, and I told people what I felt about the market. Of course, it's always not financial advice, because I'm not a financial advisor. This is for education and entertainment purposes only. Are you not entertained? How can you not be entertained with these markets today and yesterday that have just absolutely popped off? So anyway, let's jump into some of the news. And then the September 6th low saying, hey, felt this was the local bottom and that we were not going to go any lower there, and certainly just did not see it going down there at all. Now, we'll talk about the charts and see where we're going from here. There's some interesting stuff that's come out here, and so let's go over some of the news items here. So we look at 2013, 2017, 2021. On average, Bitcoin peaks 480 days after the halving. So you can see all the data here. We're currently at day 153. So you can do the math there, where the market cycle top is likely to be going to be about 330 days. So the market cycle top is due to be, on average, is due to be possibly in August time there. So that would be very interesting, August, September time. So let's see how that shakes out moving forward. There's a lot of time in between there, by the way. Now, also, we had the Bitcoin breakout. Historically, has broken out from its reaccumulation range, 150 to 160 days after the halving. It's currently 158 days, and I've been sharing this kind of information constantly on the channel, saying people calling for 40s and 30s just weren't don't understand the Bitcoin cycle. They don't understand the Bitcoin 4-year cycle. They're looking at, oh, we're in a recession. No, Bitcoin doesn't care. Bitcoin doesn't care. What Bitcoin cares about is following the 4-year cycle. And the day that the Bitcoin does not follow the 4-year cycle, then the 4-year cycle is broken. But for its entire history, it has followed the 4-year cycle. So that's what I'm following until otherwise. And if something changes, I'll be the first one to get on here and say the halving cycle has now changed. We're no longer in a 4-year cycle. We have to adapt and adjust. Okay, so look, it was bound to break out 158 days after the halving. Off we go. Okay, it's that simple. All right. Bitcoin EMAs were also now trading back above all the key 3 EMAs, the 21, the 55, and you know my favorite, the 200-day EMA on the daily. Of course, once we start to move away from that 200 EMA on the daily, it will have, I'll reference it less, but I reference it all the time because it's always been a good buying opportunity for alts and for Bitcoin when it's been around the 200 EMA on the daily, and now we're above it. And so has the opportunity passed? There are some altcoins, I believe, that are still have some entries, and we'll talk about that in the altcoin show, which is coming up in a couple of hours. So make sure you check out that. Now, imagine holding Bitcoin for 15 years in one address just to move it now. Absolutely crazy. A dormant address containing 50 Bitcoin has just been activated after 15.6 years. It's about $15 million, I believe. Actually, there's more. There's actually quite a few. In total, it's about 15 million that has been activated. So that's very interesting. Imagine holding pretty much from zero all the way to about 63, 64,000, and now you've moved an exchange ready to sell. Or maybe they just found their keys, their seed phrase, and they've been waiting all along to sell, and now they go, oh, finally I can sell. That's interesting. Interesting to note there. Quite an amazing thing when one of these dormant addresses, one of these OG addresses wakes up. However, in 2 weeks, FTX will begin distributing $16 billion to its creditors. I believe there is going to be a lot of money coming into the market soon. And again, this was just another bullish narrative for quarter four. And if you look at quarter four has always been bullish for Bitcoin, particularly in halving years. I just didn't see that drop on the cards. Of course, anything's possible, but just so unlikely. Fortunately, BitX looks like it's been suspected of being a hack. And certainly this does bring into light having cold storage device where you are able to move your crypto to. And certainly I do have a cold storage device. If you don't have one, I do recommend getting one. And certainly for hodl positions that you're taking profits on fairly on the track, like the distance might be quite far away. For me, my swing trades and my day trades, you need access to that liquidity, but certainly having a cold storage device can be a good idea. We're not sure how much was taken. It looks like about 20 million US dollars. Generally speaking, on these smaller amounts, that will get, usually the exchange will make that right. They have a treasury or a fund for getting that. If they can't claw that money back, they'll make people whole. But, look at the Mt. Gox hack. It gets to a point where if there is such a big hack on exchange, they can't make people whole, and then you're 10 years later, you're still waiting for your assets that for some reason only just started to get released 10 years later. Absolutely unbelievable. And BingX came out with a statement saying that there'd been minor asset loss, but the amount is small and still being calculated. So I'll keep my finger on the pulse for that to see if there is any update. But it just goes to show you, just to have having that cold wallet, cold storage to have your crypto on can be quite a good idea. We know we're in a recession. In the past, it took an average of 10 months after a US recession before it started. And so you can see that, we could be in a recession or the start of a recession. Maybe we won't have a recession, but we won't get announced. Even if we are in one now, it may not be announced till much later. And so could we be in a recession already? So this is just a very interesting chart that I thought that people could say, oh, recession is coming. It's quite possible that, we're in a recession already. There is a monthly lag time, and then you can see the amount of time that there was a lag on the charts for that. How do we know that we're in a recession? It took an average of 10 months, 16 months. And so you can see that chart right there. In 2001, when the Fed started with a 50 basis point rate cut, NASDAQ returns totaled minus 76 from top to bottom over a 3-year period. This was one of the worst bear markets in history for technology stocks. Now tech stocks are at all-time high and the NASDAQ is up sharply. And the reason that I bring this up is simply because the last 2 times that the Fed cut 50 basis points, the market dropped significantly after 12 months. So 12 months later, I think it was in 2001, I think it was down about 20%. And that's a lot for stocks, by the way, for those in crypto only. And then I think in 2007, but those were very, very different times. And so they're hoping, will this time be different? And I'm just showing this to say, hey, and it was a little bit different scenario. We might see a softer landing. And this is why I titled the video, Soft Landing or Crash Landing. What do you think? Do you think the Fed is going to be able to bring a soft landing, or will they bring a crash landing? This will be very interesting to see what happens. And a lot could depend on the Japan yen cash carry trade. And I'm going to explain how this works, and then we're going to jump into the charts. So right now, the August 5 dump came because the Bank of Japan kept interest rates at 0.25%. Now, Japan are a little bit of a bother because their inflation is going up for like the first time in their history or something, or for 35 years or however many years. And so one way of managing inflation is to push the interest rates up. But the problem that they have is that people have been borrowing money from the Bank of Japan at 0% interest, and then they've been putting it into the American stock market, bonds and all kinds of stuff, money market accounts, and making good interest on it and good money on it. So what happens is, as soon as now you've got to pay interest on that money, people start to panic because they're like, well, I'm no longer borrowing this money for free. I've got to pay for it. Then secondly, now what we have is the money market accounts, 6.5 trillion looking for a place to call home because now they're not going to get as much. The Fed has dropped by 50 basis points. Now you're not getting as much interest on your money. And they've already the dot plot, which I don't have here, but we'll share on the stock show on Sunday. Wait for that. There'll be a cracker show. We're going to see how much money we've made on the trades. I already know a lot of these trades and entries that I gave on my stocks tab are up. So check out the cheat sheet. I have got a stocks tab on there, and there is some good profits being banked there. But listen, so what happens now is you say you're borrowing now. So you were borrowing this free money at 0% from the Bank of Japan. And now they are dumping that into the stock market and into money market accounts. Now you're having to pay interest on that money, and now you're not making as much on that money either. So that money, I believe, is going to start to flow. Where is it going to flow? It's going to come out of those money market accounts, and I believe it's going to start to flow into stocks and gold, silver, etc., equities, and into the cryptocurrency market. And we're going to see a great bull run as usual. What could bring an end to this is Japan is forced to raise this higher, and the Fed just keeps going the other way. So now the money that they're borrowing, they're paying more interest on it. And then on the US side, you're making less interest on the money that you borrowed from the Bank of Japan. So this is where it's all going to unwind. And then I do think we could have quite a decent correction, dump, drop in the stock markets and in crypto, coinciding with the end of the bull market, and also a good pullback in the stock market as well. But that could take some time to play out, could take 8, 9, 10 months to play out. So certainly as we come into, and I know that Mo, I'm called the Kiwi Mo, and so it's great to be featured on the Stocks with Josh show yesterday for the Blub trade. Big shout out to Josh and all the stock squad there. And people nicknamed me Kiwi Mo. But Kiwi Mo did predict that he felt that the crash would come a little bit, or a drop would come a little bit sooner. And so, and that could quite possibly be the case at any time. If the Bank of Japan begins to raise rates, I do feel the market will shift. And when this came out, this will be very bullish for stocks, I believe, today, and for crypto in general. Everybody's breathing a sigh of relief. So I've actually gotten in more trades on the stock market, and you can see all those trades on the cheat sheet below. So make sure that you check that out. Okay, so we're going to jump into the charts just very quickly and wrap it up for Bitcoin. And so, here were the three bottoms that I told you. I said here, just even days after and all the way through this chop, I said the bottoms and the bottoms and the bottoms, and it was in. If you'd taken that trade, you could have taken some more profit here. We crashed down. I was calm. I was in the Discord, telling people what I was doing, buying what I was buying the dip. And then even the day or two after, I said the bottom is in. I mean, this was really in. This was a black swan event. This was like saying that the 2020 crash that we were going to go even lower. I mean, the bottom was really in. And then we shot up, and then, of course, you could have made a little bit of profit there. And then again, down here, I said that the bottom was in over here. And again, that's been the case, that the bottom is in. Now, of course, can we still come down and make a new low in September? Of course, it's possible, but I think it's very highly unlikely at this point. Certainly, we're back above the 200 EMA on the daily. Could we come back and retest this? Certainly, we now have come into this order block on Lux Algo. We've come from where we broke down from. So there is a lot of resistance there because there's a lot of trap traders there that just want to release their liquidity there. And so we could come back, and we've got some levels here at the top of the EMA band here around 60,000 there, or just under at around 59,600. That would be a good place if we did have a pullback where to enter a trade there for Bitcoin there. But that's certainly where I'm keeping my eye on right now. Certainly the other scenario that could happen is we could just smash through this, retest, then go to here, and then come back and retest here. So those are the two scenarios to the upside. To the downside, if we come down, retest this and fail, and we break below, then obviously I'm looking at the same levels around about that 56 to 7 level, and then there's that 54 to 56 level. And if we do go down even further, we're re-looking at retesting that 52 to 53 level there as well. I think the most likely scenario is a possible pullback down to the 200 EMA or around this area here. And then come up again, or we just kind of bang around here for a while is also quite possible while people are waiting for the pullback, and we just bang around. We take a pause out, kind of like we did over here, as we test, and we just kind of sit up there for a little while, and we begin to take off. So that's another scenario as well, that we actually don't pull back and we just pause here for a little bit and just shoot through. So those are my two scenarios to the upside: either a rejection here, come down, retest, come back up, finally break through, or that we kind of just keep pushing, and then finally bust through, and then build some more support here. We do have support along the line, more support here. And so going up to around 69, 70, and then coming back and retesting 65. So those are the two most likely scenarios, in my opinion, at the moment for Bitcoin. I know some people are like, oh, I didn't buy enough. And I've been saying on the channel, I've only had my cheat sheet there for 3 months showing you the levels to enter for buying the dip. So, if we do come back here, there is a rejection. I think we do hold that 200 EMA and the 50-day moving average there along there. Unless we get some kind of crazy news event, of course, we can come down. Anything's possible. But the most likely scenario is to come down, test this one here, or sit here, bang away, and then push through, and then come back and retest. But of course, you can push through, and I've seen Bitcoin do this before. It just, people are waiting for a pullback, it doesn't come. We just bang away at that level, push through, away on that level, and then push through, or we get pullbacks there. So hopefully your bags were loaded and you were ready for takeoff. I know many of you on the Discord were saying that, and on YouTube as well. And so I applaud you for buying the fear and buying the dips. And remember, some I get asked questions: should I buy here? Should I buy here? Look, if a coin like Tau, was at 300, should I buy here? If you believe it's going to 3,000, as I do, yeah, I mean, it just becomes a little bit more risky. But generally, I want to teach good trading habits of buying dips, buying the fear, and selling into pumps and selling into the greed. Okay, and so certainly, if you believe, as I do, that a lot of these coins can still do a 10x, buying them on pumps is risky. But then you look what you saw happen with Tau. I mean, it pumped from 225 up to 365, and then today it went up to 430. When is this unstoppable monster of a coin going to have a pullback, because I had some buy entries at 335, and now I took some more profits at 430. I swing trade there, but now looking maybe for a pullback to 365. But this thing could just keep going. And if you want to have some more thoughts on my altcoins, join the altcoin show, which is coming up in just a couple of hours. And until then, happy trading.